And what's with the new costumes, guys?
We just felt it was time for a change.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Today, I'm starting a new series where we'll dive deep into analyzing and reviewing episodes and films from the rich world of superhero fiction. But don't worry, Evolution videos aren't going anywhere. With that said, let's kick the year off with the most requested two-parter episode from Justice League, A Better World. If you haven't seen it yet, perfect, as you'll soon discover it's a masterclass in showing how one pivotal moment can change everything. While you don't really need to know the lore, I will say this episode intricately weaves together arcs for most of the characters and explore themes of power, corruption, redemption, loyalty, and sacrifice. The episode opens in an alternate universe where Earth's heroes are now known as the Justice Lords, and Lex Luthor is President of the United States. I'm not American, but if he wasn't insensitive and self-serving, then I believe he'd make a decent leader. Now this isn't me endorsing him for the presidency, like how Captain Marvel unintentionally did.
He used to be a supervillain for Pete's sake, and now he's one of the good guys. I think it's terrific that he's running for president, don't you?
I'm just imagining how his talents and intelligence would have benefited society.
My technology built it, my will keeps it going, and nearly 2/3 of its people work for me whether they know it or not.
Instead, Lex kills the Flash and prepares for a nuclear war. Why did he do it? Was it a power play? Did Flash uncover a dangerous secret? You definitely didn't expect the story to start off that evil, but then again, most origin stories start off with tragedy. So, as you would expect, the heroes storm the White House to arrest President Lex Luthor. Superman quickly dismantles the security forces, ignoring the team's insistence to wait.
Wait!
We've waited too long as it is.
He breaches into the Oval Office alone. Superman admits his failure to hold Lex accountable, placing blame on the people and the laws that have allowed corruption to thrive. Meanwhile, Lex, ever the strategist, reveals the ace up his sleeve, a big red button that would launch a nuclear war. It's like a universal thing with the ominous button in focus and the terrible disaster that awaits pending a single press.
What's this do?
That's not helping.
In this case, it's the start of nuclear war.
That button launches all of our nuclear missiles!
But Lex pauses, knowing Superman's principles and Boy Scout personality won't allow him to resort to deadly force. He uses this opportunity to mock him, nothing like a supervillain making the same mistake as always.
He starts monologuing.
Lex claims Superman's purpose as a hero only exists because of villains like him.
And you do love being a hero, don't you? The cheering children, the swooning women.
I mean, he's technically right. The first thing you think of when you hear the word hero is someone who saves the day. But to save the day, heroism requires a worthy adversary who opposes his morals and ideals. Without a nemesis who emerges as a final challenge, Superman's identity crumbles, becoming ordinary with nothing special about him.
And when everyone's super,
No one will be.
Lex's mocking helps Superman see the grim truth that Lex will never stop his schemes. He'll be locked up, escape every prison, reclaim that power, and continue an endless cycle of destruction. The weight of guilt and responsibility for those affected by Lex's actions finally presses down on Superman, pushing him past his breaking point. In a moment that redefines him forever to stop the future harm Lex represents, Superman sacrifices his heroism by eliminating Lex with his heat vision. The Lords arrive and discover his actions. Surprisingly, Batman accepts it without judgment, simply acknowledging it.
Hera.
Well, it had to be done.
Which, to be honest, came as a shock because of his own moral compass. But hey, this is an alternate universe. It's not like Batman condones killing in any other. Superman dismisses Wonder Woman's concerns,
I'm great.
embracing his dark transformation with conviction, which displays how his soul and mind have been corrupted. This singular act, Superman's choice to sacrifice his principles, sets off a chain reaction of events. It alters the meaning of heroism for the Justice Lords, reshaping their ideals and their world. The Lords, fully embracing Superman's philosophy that humanity's worst cannot be reasoned with, decide to follow his lead. Over the next 2 years, donning redesigned suits and upgrading their watchtower, the Lords have taken control of the world's government. They basically put the planet in lockdown, all for the sake of people's safety. I mean, America still technically has a president, but he's more of a powerless figurehead who takes orders directly from the Lords. They decide what's best for the people. Definitely a world that most people would not want to live in. Even Superman's relationship with Lois Lane isn't spared. While on a date,
You gonna tell me what's wrong?
After 2 years, you don't know?
Lois bluntly points out that the world hasn't changed for the better, as safety costs people their freedom.
You're doing everything you can to what? Make sure everyone bows down to worship you? Is that what you were going to say?
Their dynamic is far from romantic. Lois is essentially under house arrest for her protection, with enforcers monitoring her every move. That doesn't sound healthy. It sounds like a toxic relationship built on control. I mean, where's the trust? Though Superman doesn't seem to mind this, prioritizing Earth's safety above all else. The other Lords, however, are less at peace, especially Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. They still struggle to cope with the Flash's death, as his optimism balanced the team.
I keep expecting him to come zipping in any minute.
And then say something really stupid, right?
In their eyes, they're honoring his legacy by forging Superman's better way. Though they can't ignore the fear in the eyes of the very people they're protecting, as their well-intentioned methods have broken the hope that once defined their heroism.
Remember when everyone liked us?
Since when does that matter to you?
Since I started seeing the fear on everyone's face.
As for Martian Manhunter and Wonder Woman, they don't get enough screen time to see any development whatsoever. The Lords regroup in the Batcave as Batman summons them, revealing that he's created a window to peer into alternate dimensions. They discover a world protected by the Justice League, where Flash is still alive, but so is Lex Luthor, much to Superman's dismay.
How is he still alive? How are you still alive?
Viewing this alternate reality as a chaotic mess, in dire need of their intervention, the Lords feel compelled to step in and bring their version of peace. Batman, of course, has another surprise, a fully operational trans-dimensional machine. After all, with no crimes to solve, he's had plenty of time to tinker in the cave he rarely leaves.
You've been a busy little bat, haven't you?
What else is there to do around here anymore?
But damn, I wish I had one. Think of the possibilities. Before the Lords proceed, Batman cautions them on whether the League would accept their kind of help. If you know the League's principles, then it's clear they would never condone the Lords' methods. Recognizing this, Lord John approaches the League alone and deceives them into helping him.
And the dimensions appear to be collapsing on each other. Our Batman built this portal to try to find help.
On the topic of trust, Batman immediately questions John if he's telling the truth, having learned through experience that trust must be earned, not freely given. The League naturally agrees. I mean, they would never say no to lending a helping hand. However, they're led into a strange room.
It's a trap!
Where the League is electrocuted and Hawkgirl is injured. Despite being on the same team, Superman still has to convince the Lords of their actions. They waste no time entering the alternate dimension to establish their new world order, only to discover Doomsday wreaking havoc. This is an opportunity to really let loose as they welcome the challenge with confidence.
You wanted excitement.
And when we stop it, they'll be so grateful they'll roll right over for us.
I mean, Superman really goes all out, but their arrogance blinds them to Doomsday's raw power. Even Superman finds himself overwhelmed, barely holding his own. Outmatched and desperate, what does he do? He resorts to a drastic measure, lobotomizing Doomsday with his heat vision. Lois, echoing her counterpart, quickly calls his actions unrecognizable. Yet to some, his decision to change feels justified. Many citizens, tired of villains escaping justice time and again, view this as the kind of action needed to ensure safety. Back in the Lord's dimension, the population is likely divided. While fear governs their daily lives, some support the Lord's methods because the results speak for themselves. For many, a life of fear seems ideal, as it's a price to pay instead of the endless destruction caused by villains. With their deception in full swing, the Lords, disguised as the League, address the press that their new suits mark the beginning of change. Their confidence convinces the world about the dawn of a safer future, all but Lex.
It's not them.
And just like that, Part 1 comes to an end. You can tell by now that the story is already intense, and that's just the beginning. Yes, part 1 showed you how the worlds differ, but I think part 2 takes it up a notch. The conflicts and comparisons between both worlds collide in ways that deeply challenge every character involved. Part 2 dives straight into the League predicament, opening with Lord Batman overseeing their imprisonment. Right away, we're treated to one of the most anticipated moments, the first face-to-face interaction between Batman and his Lord counterpart.
One question. Why? Because you and your friends couldn't do what needed to be done.
True to his nature, Batman immediately begins analyzing his surroundings, searching for a way to escape. Knowing exactly how his mind works, Lord Batman informs him that he's already accounted for every possible escape plan Batman might conceive. He then encounters the Flash, where they exchange hints at the humanity still within him and the pain of losing his own speedster.
Believe me, the last thing we want is to lose another.
Another what?
Flash, being the impulsive guy he is, quickly tricks Lord Batman to escape and tries to free the others.
You'll appreciate this someday.
Batman just ends up revealing the passcode, acknowledging that he and Lord Batman operate on a similar level.
How'd you know?
They're the numbers I use.
It just shows you that despite being from another dimension, they actually do think the same. This realization makes you question that if there exist parallel dimensions and infinite possibilities, are the core elements constant across every version of ourselves? I'd like to think so.
For we are one and the same.
With the League ready to take action, Batman decides to locate the portal alone, as this mission is personal. He didn't trust the Lords from the beginning, and now he feels the weight on his shoulders. The rest locate the injured Hawkgirl, but they're puzzled by her location until it clicks. If you're in Gotham City and searching for a sick bad guy, where's the one place you'd check?
Arkham.
Now, of course, the answer is Arkham Asylum, but when you first see it, you would definitely ask if this is the right place, expecting its signature dark atmosphere. I guess the Lords really did make a difference. The League heads inside, and wait a minute, is that the Joker in charge?
So when did the nut take over the nut house?
Like us, even they're shocked to see him. At first glance, you'd probably think he's rehabilitated. Nope, that's too optimistic. It's quickly revealed that he, along with many other villains, weren't rehabilitated, they were lobotomized. Yup, Doomsday wasn't Lord Superman's first victim. That's one of the main reasons why Arkham looks peaceful, like I'm visiting Themyscira. Though we could never know how many villains the Lords have killed, it seems that Lex was the exception, given that the worst of Arkham's inmates were just lobotomized. After guessing the password incorrectly,
Applesauce.
Right, but Wonder Woman was supposed to say it.
which Sean should have figured out while reading Joker's mind, the League fights Lord Superman's robots and rescues Hawkgirl. The scene cuts to Batman's search, leading him to the Batcave. At first glance, it's basically an exact replica of his own cave back home, but besides the portal, something else is different. All the trophies and memorabilia from his battles with Gotham's Rogues Gallery are gone.
Hey, that's a giant dinosaur.
And I thought Batman was the detective.
I guess Lord Batman erased all traces of his history, deeming them unnecessary. And where the heck is Alfred? He probably just left.
Leaving is all I have to make you understand.
Rejecting Lord Batman's new methods, and knowing he isn't the same boy he helped raise.
You're not Batman anymore. You have to find another way.
Suddenly, who shows up and immediately attacks when we think he's been imprisoned this whole time? Lord Batman. This is truly one of the biggest moments and my favorite scene from the whole episode. Their face-off starts with Lord Batman's ability to anticipate his moves on pure instinct, and they argue about the respective approaches to justice.
But what have you ever accomplished from there, aside from scaring a few punks half to death and putting a few more in jail? It all adds up.
Lord Batman attempts to sway Batman by convincing him to step into the light to fix the system. He presents his world as a utopia, where control ensures safety. It's an enticing fantasy, but Batman isn't easily convinced. We know he occasionally operates during the day, though always does his best work in the dark. But the way Kevin Conroy seamlessly shifts between the two Batman, projecting their similar yet opposing mindsets, pairs perfectly with how the scene cuts between them.
Think about it. A world where there's no crime, no victims, no pain, and no choice.
It's just brilliant. Their argument ultimately builds up to a callback when Lord Batman reveals he's created a world where no boy will ever have to endure what they did in Crime Alley. The words hit Batman like a freight train. Day and night, it's the moment he always remembers that changed his life. The cold of the night, the eyes of the killer, the gun pointing at them, the fear from his parents, the 2 bullets fired, and the bodies left near him. Realizing there is truth to Lord Batman's new purpose, Batman surrenders. Together, they head to Arkham to help the League, and while driving the Batmobile, Batman is taken aback. Crime is non-existent, and litter is nowhere to be seen. It's basically Metropolis, minus the smiles and joy as the people live in fear. Lord Batman reveals that respecting the small laws ensures compliance with the bigger ones. So, Batman, never one to miss an opportunity for dry humor, stops at a red light.
What are you doing? The small laws, remember?
Glancing at the obedient, fearful citizens, Batman sarcastically says that their parents would have loved this new world.
They'd love it here, don't you think? Who? Mom and Dad. They'd be so proud of you.
When a standoff brews between the League and enforcers, Lord Batman intervenes, making a stand when his authority is questioned.
Are you questioning my authority, Lieutenant?
Put your guns down. Now!
Even the League is stunned, briefly mistaking him for their Batman. After all, it's hard to imagine an enemy who locked them up just hours ago now standing as their ally. While the Lords are feared here, that encounter also demonstrates that whatever dimension you're in, Batman always instills fear. Lord Batman's earlier chat with Batman has clearly rattled him. For the first time, he confronts the truth that the Lord's forced peace is flawed. The ends don't justify the means, not when they strip away freedom and humanity, especially since their actions were based on revenge, causing them to go rogue. As Lord Batman returns the League home and contemplates his future, the League faces their own crisis because they'll be going up against themselves. It's not just a question of strength. The League refuses to drop to their level and kill their enemies. But if fire can't fight fire, how far are they willing to go? What lines are they prepared to cross? It's a moral dilemma that cuts to the root of what they stand for. They're forced to discover their limits and the edge of their principles. At that moment, all I could think about was that one scene from Batman Under the Red Hood, where Batman tries to convince Jason not to kill the Joker.
All I've ever wanted to do is kill him. But if I allow myself to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
When news breaks that Lex has escaped prison again, Lord Superman sees this as the perfect opportunity to finish what he started. The other Lords eagerly join him, especially since they were robbed of their vengeance the first time. However, when they arrive, their confidence quickly turns to confusion. The League lures them into the same trap they themselves were captured in.
That was the plan. Not a great plan.
You would think the League and even Batman would come up with something better, especially since Lord Hawkgirl could easily steer away the electricity, just as Hawkgirl did. With the trap destroyed, the League is forced to face their respective doppelgangers in an action-packed battle. In the midst of the chaos, Flash gains the upper hand on Lord Superman until the advantage doesn't last and he loses his patience. He grabs Flash by the throat, treating him like just another supervillain, but hesitates to punch him. Flash knows that he represents the last part of Lord Superman's conscience and the final line he would never cross.
Wrong.
Flash is a sign of weakness holding him back. He doesn't see a friend or an ally, he sees a liability. The line has already been crossed so many times that it's like it never existed. One more death in his mind wouldn't change anything. Just as he prepares to deliver the final blow, Superman appears, and beside him is the last person anyone expected, Lex Luthor.
I have come back to life!
Superman chose to do what the Lords couldn't, work with someone they despise for the greater good. What's the old saying?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Or in this case, a reluctant temporary ally. Revealing a weapon capable of permanently dampening superpowers, one by one, Lex depowers the Lords. This is such an OP weapon, a game changer, but it only shows up here and does its job, never to be seen again. Just to fill up that gap and cover the bases, only Lex's intellect and Superman's super speed could create it this quickly. I know 100% that any supervillain would probably kill for this weapon, because it would lead to riches, glory, and power. But no story evolves if that weapon were always in play. With Lex's plans always foiled by the League or Superman, this moment to take down a version of him was so bittersweet. You'd think that with the powerful weapon in his hands, this would be the perfect opportunity for revenge. Surprisingly, he honors his word. He helps stop the Justice Lords in exchange for a presidential pardon. No gloating or theatrics. Lex leaves in silence, making us believe for a moment that he's changed his ways. But come on, this is Lex Luthor we're talking about. While Lord Superman is so far driven, Superman's morals haven't been corrupted. Despite the same temptations, he holds back always.
So you're not such a Boy Scout after all.
Never even made it to my first merit badge.
Not out of fear of losing, but fearing his strength and power may hurt the innocent.
Never allowing myself to lose control, even for a moment, or someone could die.
The aftermath follows Lex addressing the press, claiming that he won't be going back to LexCorp. Surprise, he has his sights on politics, hinting to the audience that he plans to run for president. Anyone else feeling a sense of déjà vu?
Flash will die. You will kill Luthor. Armageddon. Inevitable.
And with that, the episode concludes. So what do you think of this two-part episode? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed the first addition to this series, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications. Thanks to my patrons, and until next time, remember, when that one big moment comes, embrace it.